Whether you recognize this flag from its many, many memes and parodies, or you saw it while listening to one of those wacky libertarians talk about taxes or bitcoins, the Don't Tread on Me flag is one of the most instantly recognizable pieces of symbolism in American politics. But where did it come from? What does it mean? Why are there so many snakes in American culture despite their obvious connection to the forces of hell? Well, the answer is actually very simple. Benjamin Franklin. Snake culture started in America in 1751, with Franklin's satirical piece, Rattlesnakes for Felons. In it, Franklin criticizes the common practice of sending convicted felons from Britain to the Americas, and recommends that in return for this generous gift, we send back rattlesnakes. Honestly, though, this was pretty tame, considering that Australia threatened to send back emu. Franklin's infatuation with the servants of Satan, however, didn't stop, and in 1754 he published this political cartoon, the first one ever to be published in an American newspaper, which you also probably have seen. It depicts a snake surgically cut into 8 different pieces. Why? Because Franklin was a creepy bastard. He had bodies under his house. Look it up. It includes the lines "join" or "die" at the very bottom of the cartoon, and abbreviations for all the different colonies along each segment of the snake. New England being grouped together as the head, because it was the farthest north, and South Carolina being the tail, because it was the farthest south. Now, why were Georgia and Delaware not included on the snake? It's because Benjamin Franklin hated peaches. And also whatever the hell Delaware has. I don't even know what goes on there. Is that even a real place? I'm just kidding, obviously. Except about Delaware. In reality, this comic was made about security. You see, Benjamin Franklin made Join or Die in order to rally a spirit of unity within the colonies. He also wanted to instill the idea that as a group, they were better protected and more secure than they were separate. Georgia and Delaware were just deemed too weak or too small to do anything useful when it came to protection. It should be noted that this was just before the French and Indian War, so many of the colonies were worried that they would lose some of their sovereignty due to the mass influx of British military presence on the continent. As the Revolution dawned, one of its main ideological figureheads, Franklin, brought many of his ideas and symbolism with him. With the formation of the Continental Navy, this man, Ezra Hopkins, the commander-in-chief of the Navy, ordered that all ships, all 4 of them, fly a striped jack. This flag was designed as that jack, and is therefore known as the first Navy Jack. It features 13 red and white stripes to symbolize the 13 colonies, a design I'm pretty sure we're all familiar with. It also has a rattlesnake running diagonally across the flag, with 13 rattles. I bet you can guess what those symbolize. In the last white stripe, it features the words, "Don't tread on me." This is obviously just a rallying call telling the British to leave them alone. On the first mission of the Continental Navy, which was to steal gunpowder and supplies and deliver them to the Continental Army, the Navy was joined by the first 5 companies of Marines. Apparently, some of these Marines were carrying yellow drums, with a rattlesnake poised to strike on the head of the drum. Ironically, if it's a drum, then you kinda have to tread on it. I mean, it's a drum. You hit it to make it work. Great job. 10 out of 10. Job well done. Gold star. A+. An anonymous author wrote to the Pennsylvania Gazette his guess as to why a rattlesnake was chosen to represent America, saying, "She never begins an attack, nor, when once engaged, ever surrenders. She is therefore an emblem of magnanimity and true courage. She never wounds till she has generously given notice, even to her enemy, and cautioned him against the danger of treading on her." By the way, this person was speculated to be, you guessed it, Benjamin Franklin. The yellow drums carried by those Marines, however, do lead us into the next guy we need to talk about. Christopher Gadsden. Gadsden was a colonel in the Continental Army, and dear God, this guy loved America. He was born in South Carolina and led the Sons of Liberty there until 1775, when he joined the Continental Army. Gadsden represented South Carolina at the Continental Congress, along the likes of John Sam Adams, John Jay, George Washington, and most importantly, everybody's favorite founding father, Thomas Mifflin. The Congress elected to make the aforementioned Ezra Hopkins commander-in-chief of the Continental Navy. After this decision was made, Gadsden presented a flag, which was described as a yellow field with a lively representation of a rattlesnake in the middle, in the attitude of going to strike, and these words underneath, "Don't tread on me." The intended purpose of this flag was to be flown by the Commander-in-Chief of the Continental Navy, and it was. Ezra Hopkins proudly flew the Gadsden flag on the flagship of the U.S. Navy, the USS Alfred. It should be said that the Continental Congress bought this ship from a man called John Barry. John Barry would later go on to join the rebellion. But Barry on the ship added a much cooler name, the Black Prince. However, this is the American Revolution, which means no reference to the monarchy whatsoever. So they settled on Alfred, which is a much better name, Alfred. Anyways, Hopkins liked the flag, so he flew it on the Alfred, where it became a symbol of American patriotism and defiance for the first time. Last on our list is the Culpeper flag. This flag was used by the Virginia Minutemen, specifically those of Culpeper County. The Culpeper Minutemen seemed to be big fans of Gadsden and his flag, due to the fact that they basically copied it. The Culpeper flag is a rattlesnake with the words "Don't tread on me" under it. However, this flag is on a white field, not a yellow one. They also included a banner at the top that says the Culpeper Minutemen and the words "Liberty or Death" on the sides of the snake. This flag was made due to the fact that there was no one national flag at the time, meaning people were allowed to choose flags to represent themselves. There wouldn't be a national flag until this one, on June 14, 1777. The Gadsden flag has recently been co-opted by groups like the Libertarians and the Tea Party due to the fact that it is both a symbol of liberty and patriotism. It has recently gained a lot of popularity because of this, and of course, all the memes. However, most recently, inspiration has been taken from both the Culpeper flag and the Gadsden flag to create the permanent symbol for this YouTube channel. History or death.